Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. We are here at Decoding the Diversity in Technology. It's a forum whereby you can kind of get a sense about the level of diversity and what does that really mean? What does that mean in a sphere of technology? What does that mean in your own life as just a general consumer? And that's particularly important here. Because we are here at the Hood Street Art Center, which is one of the best known art galleries in Henry County. And the reason we're here is also because we want to look forward at the future of Henry County and looking at how those spaces intermingle with our own lives and our own applications and technology, and also making sure that it's inclusive. What does that really mean? So my name is El-Mahdi Holly. You can call me L, my students call me that, but I just want you to have that opportunity to also maybe take a gander at the people who are in your neighborhood who also have some really important good things to say about kind of where our community is going. And so I guess first off, I'd probably like to just start off by maybe introducing you to some of our guests. Heather.
Hi, my name is Heather McCollum, and I lead a company called Better HR. I've been in the HR field for about 15 years now and have worked and served as an HR business partner primarily in spaces from commercial real estate, construction, high tech. I've even worked for an entertainment company. So all gamuts of HR and diversity.
Jessie?
Hello, my name is Jessie Delacruz-Sanchez. I've been working for a company called Primerica. I actually, been doing it for 3 years. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love being a part of the community. I love that, we can get together and do these activities and to show the love that we have for the ones that we live right next to in our homes. So I'm glad to be here, guys.
Awesome. Chris?
My name is Chris Scott. I've been in the IT industry for over 20 years. I know I'm dating myself here. But currently, right now, I'm an IT manager for Fulton County State Court, and I've been there for 16 years. So I've seen IT move from really its inception to where it is today. And as we all know, it has moved dramatically in the last 25 years. So this is a very interesting conversation that we're going to have today, just to kind of understand where technology really has come from, where it's going, why it's important for everyone to have their thoughts on the industry and how it can grow and help everybody, in the coming years.
Awesome. I think, let me just come back to that point for you, Chris. Having worked in the sphere of technology, having to kind of manage the information within the court system, I think oftentimes when people look at government, they don't often think of government being able to kind of act rapidly. You kind of get this discussion, you got to go down there and either go get your tags or you're going to go and you got to line up in line. It's going to be hours. What does that really mean? Are you really able to see the benefits of applying technology in a space that is most people don't really have an idea is really influenced by technology in order to make people's lives better so that they are maybe not being in line too long?
I mean, that's a really good question, El. There's always room for improvement. Mm-hmm. So me putting myself in the consumer's shoes, right, and knowing that the process can be cumbersome sometimes, mm-hmm, yes, there's room for improvement. But from my side, looking at where IT was when I got there, right, and the applications and the technology where it was then and where it is today, mm-hmm, it's light years ahead of where it was, mm-hmm, 10 years ago. Right. And just to give you an example, when I first got there, they had magistrate judges, mm-hmm, those judges were on call weekly. So when someone got arrested, the officer actually went to the judge's house in the middle of the night, wow, to get the warrant signed.
So that means waking them up at like 3 a.m.?
This wasn't even 10 years ago.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Now, there's an application that the judge logs onto on a laptop, mm-hmm, signs the warrant on the laptop. Mm-hmm. So they're doing multiple warrants throughout the night because people are getting arrested throughout the night.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so now all of this is automated, it's electronic, And I mean, that's not like the hugest step in the world, but just to give you an example of where it goes and how fast it goes.
Right.
Wow.
You know?
No, that makes sense.
So,
I know,
you know.
like, I know particularly, I know within Henry County, I've read recently that, here our police force is actually using drone technology.
Absolutely.
Because it's great for search and seizures and, being able to find people who are, lost or, or trying to apprehend somebody who's on the run or, and harming the community. And so I think, even from, seeing from law enforcement, oftentimes they need to kind of have that advanced technology that allows them to be able to do the right thing legally,
Exactly.
right? But still be able to do so in a way that's going to help them make sure that their applications are going to be running 24/7. I guess maybe speaking about applications running 24/7.
Exactly.
I know for Heather, look, for you being in a sphere of being able to manage, human resources and making sure that the personnel are there, I know that companies are always wanting to make sure that they're thriving and that there's a continuity of service because the staff is there. I guess, how has technology really influenced the human resources aspect you've seen for the companies you work with?
Well, everything from data security is probably the biggest deal. When you think about making sure that people are legal to work in
Right.
the United States or that they have passed a background check, all of that happens through technology pretty rapidly. And so you have those leaders sometimes who want to rush past those processes, but they're there for a reason.
Right.
And thankfully, because of applications, the government, with passing your I-9 forms and getting those all done, you can use technology instead of the paper process that we'd use probably 10 years ago.
Right.
When we would have to do that. But even more so, things from time and attendance, people who have to clock their time.
Yeah.
We make sure we get accurate counts so that people can get paid what they're supposed to get paid.
Right.
Safety, I think about it from the perspective of being able to have cameras in a workplace so that people don't come in. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age of active shooters.
Right.
And so
Right.
being able to monitor and have security so that you can keep your employees safe is really important. But data security, you put your social security number usually
Right.
on your,
Right.
and that kind of
Absolutely.
data gets stored in human resources, and it used to be in big files. And there's still some places where we have those files. I won't tell you where we keep them, but we can scan those files now, and we can give you an employee ID number. That's it kind of sucks to memorize it, but it's better than using your social security number.
right.
So all of that personal identification data is compiled and collected and safeguarded. So, from just a general baseline HR perspective, that's how we would leverage technology. And going forward, though, there are some great innovations happening with the recruiting. So being able to apply online. I love the millennials.
Yes.
I know that millennials get a bad rap, but I love millennials.
Me
And
too.
let me tell you why. They make things that make life easier.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Millennials are the people who talked about working from home.
Right.
I use Instacart for my grocery shopping. You can, while we might be too tied to our devices sometimes, tell me it's not a good thing
It is.
to be able to have that technology. And so, when we talk about diversity, I like to think about it from the generational perspective. We're a service-oriented economy now,
Right.
and services are mainly technical.
Right.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
companies are looking to make sure that the services and the products they provide are applicable to the consumers.
Right.
And, you'd be very hard pressed not to look at a millennial as your target market.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
And I think we're looking at that and we're saying how many people are affected by technology. So often we're thinking that it is just like a young person or that's, that, these older folks don't need it. But then, we'll see like a commercial for, for a emergency device, for older folks, and they'll call when they need help. And I think of like our county out here. We have one of the most advanced hospitals, here in this region.
Right.
And yet at the same time, some of our seniors need to make sure that there's some accessible technology, something that whether it's a flip phone they can call all the time, or
Right.
but I know that there's there's so much there for them to kind of wonder, will someone be there for me?
Yeah.
Right.
And technology kind of being able to help that.
Yeah.
Jesse, in your sphere, I know you with Primerica, and I know you probably have to really take into account all the ways that people's lives may be, better managed.
Yeah. Well, with Primerica, we do offer different products, and technology is very important when it comes to us. That's how we actually, tell our clients, our customers, that we build this great responsibility that we have to our clients, because we're always there. That's why some companies don't like to be advertisement, because they like to keep the value of that face to face.
Right.
Hey, I'm here for you. Like you just said about the click technology, right? You want to make sure that person comes and rescue you.
Right.
That's what we actually kind of are, a company that we use technology for sense of humor of we're gonna be there for you,
right.
In that company. So our technology is awesome. We keep up with everything that's going on, in our company. And what we do is it's incredible. We help people, we help families, we help people, individuals, owners, like all classified, no color, no judgment,
Exactly.
So actually learn something new, and it's mostly you can go and learn technology, because every business now is technology. It is everything technology, So I am a millennial, so excuse you guys, I am here, So you guys, you gotta get up and go do it though, and use your technology for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons.
Right. No, it's funny.
Good millennial.
I know he identified himself as a millennial. I felt an extra gray hair.
I'm a millennial too.
Join the club.
But I think I like this, and feel free. I enjoy this being like an open conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Henry County, a lot of people may not be aware. Maybe kind of viewing outside. Our county is located about maybe 25 minutes south of Atlanta. And what we've seen is that really over the last maybe 15 years, from the time I got here, it's grown rapidly.
Yes,
it's one of the, I know it's one of the maybe top 10 fastest growing counties in all the nation.
Yes.
And
I think we were actually number one not too
yeah,
long ago,
we
right?
were,
we said a year or 2 years, we were number one, top growing, and I guess it's because they see the progress that we, the people that are coming to this county and this community that we are. We are a good community. We actually, there's a lot of communities that don't try to fight for the community, but this community actually try to fight for your community and help each other.
Yes.
So that's what I like about living in Henry County.
I agree. I think it is that unifying desire to be able to have not only just a better life for yourself, but that your neighbors get to have that better.
Exactly.
life.
I think with growth, there's an inevitable change that has to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because as the population grows, there are things that you have to add to the community to make things easier.
Right.
Otherwise, you have a manual process with a ton of people, and it becomes difficult. So technology is important. It's not so much, I know we talk about a lot of the things that technology does. We overuse it,
Right.
but that shouldn't stop us from growing. The technology has to be there. I'll give you an example. I love automobiles.
Right.
Love cars. I'll probably be 70, and if they have self-driving cars, you guys will have one, and I won't.
Right.
Because I love the feel of the drive.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that the technology doesn't need to come.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And if you read about where that's going, I understand it. I'm just a driver.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But and I'm using that as an example to, it's just how technology is in all genres, in all areas.
Yeah.
You have to look at how you can improve everything, really.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to say though, that, especially with having worked in the workplace with multi-generations, right? You've probably seen it. There are people who, you have an influx of millennials coming in, Gen X folks,
That's
we're
right.
trying to not really be there because thanks to the technology of the millennials.
Yes.
And then you have the baby boomers who are still thriving and working, and in some cases, people who are traditional, right? And now there's this new generation that's coming in, and there have been a whole lot of anxiety about that in management for a long time, and all the millennials, they come in, and when I hear people talk like that, underneath it is a fear.
It
And
is.
now that I've gotten older, I've matured quite a bit, and I hear the terms and technology and the social media, and people are throwing this terminology around, and you can be very frustrated when you hear about new technology.
Yeah.
And just, you get anxiety about it, and you want to say, stop, I don't want this to come,
Right.
because this is gonna, if this comes, then this means what I do isn't important.
Right.
Another plug for millennials, they are very good at
Absolutely.
teaching, and they're open to teaching.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
what I found is they've explained things to me a number of times. I don't get it. I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
You can do it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the beauty of diversity,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
you don't have to be strong in the areas where someone else is strong. You can maintain, you can
Right.
drive your car.
Right.
But the technology or the progress, if you will, is coming, and it's going to make things easier, and there are people who can help translate.
And that's, I like what you said about that, because we're looking at a diversity of perspectives that will really shape our lives for whether or not we feel comfortable with our use of technology.
Right.
And I think also what people may also see is that, it's not just simply about whether or not this iPhone is better than this Android phone,
Right,
or
right.
whether my Dell is better than your Mac.
Right.
Exactly.
It's we're doing comparison and we're comparing and contrasting all the time as to these applications that are just making our lives better.
Right.
And I think that even the more we do that, we're actually encouraging a level of conversation where we're getting to understand what you really like about that and what I don't. And I'm hoping that that will transfer into how, we as neighbors are looking at one another.
Yeah.
That if we can compare and contrast even on a technology side, that, maybe when we look at diversity in technology, we're not just looking at the diversity of, like racial diversity, but we're looking at how do we find a new way to look at an old problem to find some good solutions for it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I guess, I know something that, and particularly when we were talking, Chris, you were talking about how, just that transition coming from, houses with personal computers and, into where we are now.
Exactly.
Do you really think that for an area like Henry County, which we know Henry County started off as kind of a bedroom community, and
Right.
Yeah.
and now it's growing rapidly. What do you see as a smart space in terms of developing uses of technology that will better help sustain the local government we have here? Because you're a Henry County resident,
Right.
what are you seeing in terms of the future for Henry County looking like, and being able to use maybe some of the technology that you see at the courts?
Yeah, well, and really interesting question, because I live here, so I visited the courthouses here, and I see a lot of things that could be improved only because of what I'm actually doing in Atlanta. Well, Atlanta is a major metropolitan city, so we're doing a lot of things that are at the top or the cusp of technology.
Right.
So Henry County has not grown to that level, but it's grown so fast that it's already time for some of these applications, some of these ideas to come into Henry County. I mean, and I was just talking about the magistrate application.
Yeah.
That's not here,
Right.
but it's probably not being pushed at the moment because there's not a lot of crime here right now. The county hasn't grown.
In comparison to
It hasn't grown right in comparison to Fulton County.
Right.
The county hasn't grown to a level to where it's a necessity, like to where you cannot live without it.
Gotcha.
But they could still benefit from it right now.
Right. They could. Yeah.
But if they haven't seen it, they don't know that.
Understood.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And there are a lot of things we're doing. Right now, we are implementing a recording system that records the proceedings automatically and automatically stores the recording into the cloud.
Wow.
So no more court reporters actually typing. The court reporters actually, we're not doing away with them.
Right.
they actually man the system, the
Oh,
application.
good. Wow.
Wow.
Right.
So, they're not cutting the
no,
job
they're not getting
out.
rid of them.
You're
Right.
just making their
But
job better.
now it's an
Right,
automated
right.
process to where they can just go pull files whenever they want.
Wow.
And of course, Henry County probably not thinking of that right now either.
Right.
But believe it or not, things grow so fast.
Right.
It could be next year, and they're saying, "Hey, we got to have this."
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
And it's just so many other examples I could give, but these are just some of the things we're working on like right now
Right.
that I'm thinking about.
Okay. Well, thank you. We're just going to take a very short break, and then we'll come back to this great discussion. So yeah, just hang in there. Thank you. Hey, welcome back. We're still here talking about decoding the diversity in technology and what that means for Henry County. In our previous discussion, we were talking a lot about kind of general applications, and I know that particularly for those of you who are kind of looking at us, and you're seeing that this is rather a diverse panel if we're looking at it, from the focus of just a cultural standpoint. For people who are in Henry, who are seeing that their neighbor now may not have looked like their neighbor 10, 15, 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I think that may be even saying a lot about the sphere of technology in terms of how we even come to know about this county, or that it's thriving, that it's doing well, that technology that's already present in the county itself actually kind of sold a lot of families on the opportunity to start a life here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess from we're talking about how people are being brought together through their technology. Do you see that? What is your idea of smart growth? And probably Heather, I'll maybe direct that to you in terms of what does it mean, smart growth, in a space where you have a county that's growing, but where people are coming here because we're not coming to bring maybe skyscrapers. We're not coming to bring everything that we enjoy with everything with Atlanta. We're not really trying to bring that all here.
Right.
What does that mean for smart growth and with respect to small businesses, being able to have the necessary resources to thrive here?
Yeah, small businesses and emerging businesses are my heart right now. And in fact, that's pretty much why I started my business, because I felt like there wasn't really a good way to help small businesses grow from an HR perspective and taking into consideration people. Technology is fantastic.
Right.
We all talked about the advantages
Yes.
there, but when we talk about employment and we talk about work and innovation, it's got to start with the person. Even
Right,
technology, you talk
Yeah.
about the applications that are,
Right.
being put in place in Fulton County. Yeah, well, a person thought of that, right?
Right.
And it's created jobs and
Yeah.
different jobs that have never existed before. So I think that when we talk about smart growth, it's important to not take away the human element of that.
Right.
And to take the time to actually build structure around what I like to call discourse, or where people can have forums for communication. So I think we take it for granted, especially, I don't want to pick up millennials again. We take it for granted that, you know what I mean when I text this emoji.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe not though. Maybe that person's having a bad day and they didn't like what you said. And
Right.
you get into all these conflicts because you haven't spoken. You haven't had that human element of looking in your eyes, of just joking, of putting your hand on somebody.
Yeah.
And so smart growth, if you want to do it in a way where it's sustainable, it will require relationship.
Yeah.
And how you get there needs to be somewhat constructed, whether that's, something informal, coming out to community events. I know that this county is really known for family events and
Yeah.
sports,
Right.
Yeah.
and that brings people together. That's wonderful. Keep that same kind of value as you develop further. Small businesses too, there are plenty of people who think, well, I got payroll down and I'm going to post something in my church to hire someone, and they don't do a great interview, and so they don't do a background check, they don't give an orientation, and they set someone up for a horrible work experience. And then what happens in a small business, if everybody's not a good player, if everybody isn't talented or ready to do what you need them to do, there's a a risk that the business will fail.
Right.
Everybody matters in a small or emerging business. So, putting those guardrails up so that you can understand what someone's bringing to the table, understand what their gaps are before you get upset. You know that they don't know how to do it. Right. So we'll set you up for training, right? Rather than not knowing because you just relied on, I don't know, no interview process, or you relied on technology to, they wanted to come do it. There's some structure that you need to put in place to really impact and build culture. And I think, from my perspective, that needs to be taken into account when you're building real smart growth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jessie?
Smart growth, I would say basically building, like she was saying, she was right on point. Like you say, I have build good relationships, be a part of your community. If you're gonna grow, don't just grow and be selfish.
Right.
If you like a community that you're gonna live there for a long time or be a part of something, be a part of 110%, 150%. I say, and it really impacts somebody, impacts people's lives, impact the people that you're around with. It's just, that's growth to me. If you can improve, if you can grow and grow your community, that's health growth to me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I can really add to it.
Yeah.
But
I guess, and maybe I should probably even, be able to maybe add some context. With Henry County's growth, over the maybe since I've come here, maybe over the last 10 years, maybe less. Actually, maybe not 10 years. 10 years we've seen people come in, but probably over the last 5 years, I've noticed I've noticed in this district, there've been a lot of just warehouses popping up.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have.
And I'm all for technology, with respect to using robotic, maybe armament, robot arms, and applications to pick up freight and things like that to make people's lives better.
Yeah.
But when I see that we have maybe a lot of big box stores, you drop a big store and I see what I really see as spaces being robbed where people kind of have that interaction with one another, that small business infrastructure that I think is the backbone of our state.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering about, maybe, are there certain types of technologies that may come in that actually may grow our county in a way that is not sustainable and actually, might even contribute to a level of blight, and so, in that aspect of just being able to try to find smart ways where small businesses can set up and thrive, I guess, I'm looking at smart growth. Maybe that technology, is there maybe a smart way that we can look at it that maybe won't cause people to freak out and say, oh my gosh, they're bringing everything from Atlanta. They're bringing trains, planes, and automobiles. It's not,
Right.
Yeah, maybe,
I work in a co-working space in Atlanta that kind of, was in a space that is being renewed.
Right.
And the whole basis of it is called the Gathering Spot. And the whole basis of it is to bring that collective energy of small businesses and emerging businesses together for co-working.
Mm-hmm.
And co-working, in case anybody doesn't know, is usually small business owners or people who work remotely.
Right.
Salespeople often who work from home might need an office where, their space is constrained, and so they need another way to do it. You can pay a monthly fee and go to this space to work. And I find that to be so valuable because instead of a big warehouse where, there's no economy that's really happening for the people who live there, the co-working spaces, all the economy is happening there.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And it's the Gathering Spot. What's so perfect about it is that it is founded on this belief of gathering people. There are some co-working spaces where there's office suites and people are still kind of separated.
Right.
Yeah.
In this spot, the spaces are open, and so you see this natural forum or discourse set up, if you will, for people to collaborate and for people to share ideas and help each other's businesses grow.
Yeah.
And for this kind of community, that's smaller and more family oriented, where people do enjoy working and living together, something like that might be ideal. As an alternative to a warehouse.
A warehouse, right.
Right. Well, I know, matter of fact, I know a friend, Her name's Sequoia. By the way, hi Sequoia. But she's actually a best friend of my girlfriend. So, but she actually she's a supervisor general for food inspection or buildings or something like that. And what she says is like this warehouse, they're renting them out to like chefs, people that need something to do, somewhere that they can go and do their creative stuff and basically like you say value, add to it and help the community do something with that space. So
well, and I have a question. The warehouses, are some of the warehouses vacant at the moment?
There's I know I've seen, especially along our exit 216 and around there. There's quite a lot that are just kind of, they built them up and they sit there, and for sale signs all there. And I get the idea of being able to maybe have it sitting, waiting, and ready. But also think about that it's bringing down the value in the area, especially if there's no value chain where you're showing that that once it's thriving elsewhere.
But workplaces will bring restaurants,
right,
stores, little boutiques,
hotels,
and hotels,
hotels.
and all the things.
And I think, and that's the thing we see is it's great to have our great items being able to be shipped in.
Right.
But sometimes when that shipment isn't there because there's nobody in that space, and yet the trees got to get cleared out. This building goes up, and it's like, well, where's the progress? Where's it really happening?
Right.
And maybe that there's a way, but I like that to have those workspaces. It's the best part about that is it's a diversity of thought that's allowing us to be able to see what can be repurposed and made to help make people's lives better. And I think even particularly, I guess with respect to those warehouses, if they're warehouse spaces or old plazas that have kind of gone vacant, if we're maybe having an opportunity for small businesses to start up there
and utilize the space, and that was why I asked that question. Is there a way we could repurpose it or utilize the space? Because at the moment, I guess thinking of the negatives of that building sitting there, with unoccupied, there's no benefit to the community.
Exactly.
But aren't we supposed to have 75,000 people moving into the economy more this year?
I mean, it is growing tremendously. But I think I like even what you said about that moving into the economy, right? When I think too, I know for my family and I, like when we all came down and we saw that, man, these are great schools here, that we have access to go to the stores and that our neighbors are friendly. The neighbors, some have left, some have come on, but I like that we were able to see that it's not just in terms of the diversity of the community, but that there are some advantages that came for businesses, that we can operate in very, very different business settings.
Right.
And and I think when I look at the technology and how it's really influenced our consumer market, our retail spaces, in terms of us being able to provide more experiences, what do you see as maybe something that in the realm of technology that we should correct, that maybe perhaps in order to provide a better space for technology to be applied, maybe there's some warnings that maybe we should have there. I like what you said in terms of being able to make sure we're like looking out for one another and that it's brought us close together. Is there an overabuse of technology?
You can abuse technology in different ways. Like for example, Primerica is a company about sales marketing, being in sales. And, some of, I'm not going to say, that's a lot of agents that, abuse, social media, and, that can get you in trouble with a lot of people, in trouble with your company, in trouble with yourself. And you might be able to lose that relationship in the future, just because of the, you abusing social media on, any kind of way of you, even your business, if you're trying to elevate your business, you can actually abuse social media by, talking to the wrong people. So,
I think, you see that in the court system.
Well, I see it all the time. And one thing is, technology provides the opportunity for, checks and balances. So,
Right.
You kind of do it at your own risk.
Right.
It's just a matter of time almost.
Right.
At
Right.
some point,
Yeah.
you can be found out of exactly what's
Kids,
happening.
right.
But and I think we spoke about this earlier. It doesn't negate the fact that you don't continue to build on technology, though.
Right.
Exactly. Because what you do is you provide an opportunity for
Yeah.
people to do things better, quicker, easier. And people are always going to abuse.
Yeah.
There are going to be people that abuse it.
Yeah.
But the goal here is to improve our community.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So as we, come up with ideas, we brainstorm to make things better. That's the goal.
Okay.
So.
Well, I think maybe just to close it out, thank you for being able to watch for so long, and hopefully we've been able to inform you, and also kind of maybe match a lot of the ideas that you have already had, but sometimes you just kind of need to be able to express it.
Exactly.
And I think closing out, I would like for you all to log online, please. You can go to our website, which is hollyforgeorgia.com. That's HOLLYFORGA.com. And we'll also post this to our Facebook or Instagram. You can go to the old website, EL4 State Rep, ELFOR staterep.com, and be able to find this as well. But thank you so much, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk and being able to really tell people that technology is not something to be afraid of. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, cut.